Alex Eala has made history before even hitting a ball at the 2026 U.S. Open. The 21-year-old Filipina will enter the year's final Grand Slam as the number 17 seed, the highest Grand Slam seeding ever achieved by a tennis player from the Philippines. And while the number beside her name may look like just another ranking detail, it represents something much bigger, a transformation in the status of Philippine tennis on the world stage. Eala's name now appears among the established stars of women's tennis. She is no longer entering Grand Slam tournaments simply hoping to survive the opening rounds. She is arriving as a seeded player, protected from meeting another seed in the first round and carrying the expectations that come with being one of the tournament's highest-ranked competitors. That alone tells the story of how dramatically her career has changed. Just a year ago, Eala was still fighting to establish herself at the Grand Slam level. At the 2025 U.S. Open, she produced a breakthrough victory over Clara Tauson and reached the second round, giving Filipino fans a glimpse of what might be possible. This time, she returns to New York in an entirely different position. She has already proved that she belongs. Now she has to show how far she can go. The official draw has given Eala a first-round matchup against a qualifier, creating an intriguing opening to her campaign. On paper, that looks like an opportunity. But Eala will know better than anyone that Grand Slam matches cannot be judged simply by rankings or seedings. Qualifiers arrive with nothing to lose. They have already survived the pressure of qualifying, won multiple matches, and earned their place in the main draw. They can play freely, aggressively, and with the confidence that comes from knowing they have already exceeded expectations. For Eala, the challenge will be to impose herself from the beginning. And that is precisely what makes this U.S. Open so fascinating. The Filipina star is entering New York after one of the biggest stretches of her young career. Her rise has accelerated dramatically throughout 2026, and her recent results have changed the way opponents, analysts, and fans view her. Reuters reported that Eala is now ranked number 18 in the world and described her as the highest-ranked Filipino and Southeast Asian player in WTA history. That ranking is not an accident. It has been built through victories against players who once seemed far beyond Eala's reach. She has already shown that she can compete with and beat elite opponents. Her breakthrough at the 2025 Miami Open announced her arrival to a much wider audience, while her 2026 Wimbledon run provided perhaps the clearest evidence yet that she belongs on the biggest stages in tennis. At Wimbledon, Eala reached the second week of a Grand Slam and defeated then-world number 2 Iga Swiatek, becoming the first Filipino in the Open era to reach the round of 16 at a Grand Slam. That victory changed the conversation around her. Before Wimbledon, the question was whether Eala could consistently compete against the best players in the world. After Wimbledon, the question became something completely different: how far can Alex Eala actually go? Now she has arrived at the U.S. Open carrying that question with her. There is also an emotional element to her return to New York. The U.S. Open has always been a special tournament in Eala's story. She won. For years later, that future has arrived. Eala is no longer playing in the junior event. She is no longer an outsider hoping to qualify. She is walking into the women's singles main draw as the number 17 seed. That is a historic leap, and the significance goes far beyond Eala herself. For Filipino tennis fans, seeing a player from their country seated 17th at a Grand Slam is something that would have seemed almost impossible not long ago. Philippine tennis has produced talented players, but Eala has taken the sport into territory that no Filipino player has reached before. Her success has also created a growing fan movement around her. The support has been particularly visible during her matches and practices. Reuters reported that former player and ESPN commentator Mary Jo Fernandez had noticed the passionate following surrounding Eala, while ESPN's Patrick McEnroe emphasized that the U.S. Open should consider placing Eala on prominent courts because of her popularity and compelling story. That tells us something important. Eala is becoming more than a player people watch because she is Filipino. She is becoming a player people watch because they genuinely believe she can make something happen.
My mom,
that distinction is enormous.
And my brother.
When Eala walks onto the court at Flushing Meadows, there will be expectations from the Philippines, from Filipino communities around the world, and increasingly from the wider tennis audience. Fans will want to see the powerful left-handed game, the aggressive backhand, and the fearless attitude that have helped her defeat some of the biggest names in the sport. But expectations can be both a reward and a burden. A year ago, an Eala victory at the US Open would have been celebrated as a breakthrough. Now, simply winning the first round will probably not feel like enough. The number 17 seed has changed the expectations around her. And that may be the biggest test of all. The first round qualifier will provide the immediate challenge. Eala will need to handle the occasion, avoid looking too far ahead, and make sure she treats the opening match with the same seriousness she would give to a seeded opponent. Because the danger of being the favorite is that the opponent can play without pressure. Eala cannot. Every point will carry expectation. Every unforced error will be noticed. Every dominant stretch will fuel the belief that she could make another deep Grand Slam run. But Eala has already shown that she can handle pressure. Her Wimbledon victory over Swiatek was not achieved because she was overwhelmed by the moment. It was achieved because she embraced it. She attacked, competed, and remained composed against one of the most accomplished players of her generation. That experience could be invaluable in New York. Her rise has also been reflected in her ranking trajectory. After reaching a career-high number 29 earlier in 2026, her results have continued pushing her toward the upper levels of the rankings. Her success in Washington, where she captured her first WTA title, was particularly significant. Reuters noted that she defeated Jessica Pegula, Alina Svitolina, and Naomi Osaka during that run before claiming the title. Those are not ordinary victories. They are the kinds of wins that convince a player she belongs. They are also the kinds of wins that convince everyone else. And now Eala enters the US Open with an opportunity to convert all that progress into another Grand Slam statement. The draw has given her a potentially favorable beginning, but the deeper she goes, the more dangerous the opposition will become. The third round could already bring a seeded opponent, meaning Eala may quickly find herself facing another major test. But that is exactly where she wants to be. A few years ago, reaching the second round would have been an extraordinary achievement. Now the ambition is different. The goal is not simply to participate. The goal is to compete. The goal is to advance. The goal is to challenge the best. And perhaps most importantly, the goal is to prove that the Wimbledon run was not a one-time miracle. Eala has already changed the expectations surrounding her. The US Open gives her another chance to reinforce that change. Imagine the scene when she walks onto the court, Philippine flags in the stands, fans chanting her name, cameras following every movement, a number 17 beside her name on the tournament graphics, and on the opposite side of the net, a qualifier fighting for the biggest victory of their career. For Eala, it will be about staying focused amid all the noise. Because history has already been made. The number 17 seeding is official. The record belongs to her. But Eala will not want the story to end there. She will want another chapter. She will want another breakthrough. And perhaps most importantly, she will want to leave New York with the feeling that she has taken another step toward becoming a genuine Grand Slam contender. The remarkable thing about Eala's journey is how quickly the conversation has changed. Not long ago, people were asking whether a Filipina could break through on the WTA Tour. Then they asked whether she could defeat top players. Then they asked whether she could win a WTA title. Then came the question of whether she could reach the second week of a Grand Slam. Now she arrives at the US Open as the number 17 seed. The questions have changed again. Can Alex Eala make a deep run? Can she reach the quarterfinals? Can she shock another Grand Slam favorite? And perhaps, someday soon, can Alex Eala win a Grand Slam? Nobody can answer that yet. But what is becoming increasingly difficult to deny is that she has placed herself in the conversation. That is the real history behind the number 17 seed. It is not simply about a number. It represents the distance Eala has traveled, from a young Filipino tennis hopeful to a junior Grand Slam champion, from an outsider on the professional tour to a player capable of defeating the world's best, from qualifying battles to the second week of Wimbledon, and now from Grand Slam participant to Grand Slam seed. The 2026 US Open therefore represents another major moment in the Eala story. Her first round opponent may be a qualifier, but the bigger opponent is expectation itself. The tennis world now knows Alex Eala. The Philippines expects Alex Eala. And Alex Eala appears ready to expect more from herself. The history has already been written before the first ball is struck. But if Eala can turn this record-breaking seeding into another deep run at Flushing Meadows, the story could become much bigger. For now, one thing is certain, Alex Eala is no longer chasing history at the US Open. She is arriving as part of it.
About this during the match, that even if they don't love me per se, we have a shared love for our culture and for our nation, and I think that's really beautiful.
Now we know how passionate the Filipino fans are when it comes